मेरी बीवी को ढूंढने में मेरी मदद करती।
बहुत खतरनाक लोग।
Hi guys, I'm Dan, this is Fifi and you're watching Reaction Time. Today we have another requested video for you and something that we ourselves have been looking forward to watching, and that is the review on Khuda Hafiz starring Vidya Chamal and Shivalika Oberoi.
So yeah, guys,
Kalma.
how'd you like this new box, man, for our review? I mean, you know, personalized, made by Dan over here. Cool, eh? And got a signer.
Branded.
Already for this. So yeah, I'll get straight into it, guys. Overall, we both watched this movie separately. We have different understandings of it, I think, probably, but we'll see how this goes because, you know, we have no idea. We haven't spoken about it. So basically, overall, I really enjoyed the movie. I completely enjoyed it, and obviously with every other movie there's always going to be a few issues, but overall I enjoyed it. So do you want to tell us, Mr. Dan, what this movie is about? What does it say on IMDb?
Well, according to IMDb, it says Samir and Nargis get married, but soon the recession takes place globally. Samir's IT business shuts down and Nargis also loses her job. They apply for a job in Noman, where both get selected. While Nargis has to reach first before Samir could leave, he gets a call from Nargis that she isn't at a safe place and she needs help. Samir takes the help of cops and flies to Noman, where he is helped by a Pakistani taxi driver, Usman. Samir manages to find Nargis, but before he could take her, he is attacked by goons. Wow, I love the use of the word goons. Where he creates havoc and gets imprisoned. Right.
Wow, actually that's a long synopsis for IMDb. I'm used to like 3 lines and done.
It's an interesting write-up.
Yeah, it's quite detailed, you know. But yeah, getting straight into it, off the bat, from the beginning of the movie, they got straight into the point of the movie, and they clearly weren't wasting any time or taking too long to get things started. And they got straight into their love story and showing us a bit of that, and I mean straight into the wedding in like what, the first 5 minutes of the movie. The one thing that did throw me off a bit in the beginning was that slow motion scene when they were lighting up the gas stove, and the whole phone call, just before that phone call happened, just to say that your wife is missing and stuff. I wasn't quite happy with that scene. I don't know why they did that slow motion thing. Like, I get that they're trying to dramatize it and everything, but I felt like it would have felt better without them doing that.
Yeah, there is a bit of unnecessary slow motion that sort of carries on throughout the movie. And it's not even the good kind of slow motion. It's because if you're going to slow something down, you need to know ahead of time, so you can shoot at a higher frame rate, so it's smooth. But because they didn't do that, it's very choppy. It's very jarring to watch. So I did find that through the movie they did that a few times, and it's one of the things that do bug me.
I'm not sure how exactly I feel about Shivalika Oberoi, whether acting or not. But I feel like also in a certain way her acting also progressed through the movie, you know, especially when it got to the more, when she was in more awkward spaces and stressful situations, especially in that brothel when they found her. I think that was the best scene of acting that she had throughout the movie. That was personally my favorite. But talking about Taxi Wala, that guy, he did a really good job, acting wise. We all know he's a good actor. He's been in quite a good few movies, and his name's Anu Kapoor, and he was in like movies like Vicky Donor, Dream Girl, Etras. I mean, that's a really good movie. And I mean, Jolly LLB too, and that's also brilliant as well. So I feel like his role even given with, because this whole situation is a scene with, you know, the Muslims as the bad guys. So I think with Anu Kapoor as well, and the comments he makes and stuff, it made it a bit less biased towards, you know, maybe attacking a religion and stuff. So that helped that, because it's never great to be having a movie and, you know, singling out someone's religion or something, because we personally I believe no religion is bad, but it's the person, you know. So that for me was a really good thing and very important. Ahana Kumra, applause for you, woman. Damn, unexpected. And she stood out for me from the beginning. She came onto that screen right to the end, and even when she needed to show that feeling and, you know, that empathy towards the main character, which is Vidya Jamwal and stuff, it was done really well by her. That's what I feel personally. And also the what did you think about that burning situation when the body was burnt and stuff? Because to me, I was like, when I saw that, I was like, that's a straight up lie.
Yeah, there's a few instances in the movie where you can see what's going to happen before it happens. As soon as they showed, oh, it's a burnt body, yeah, this is nonsense. She is still alive. And then when they showed the necklace, I was like, yep, she is still alive. But it showed me even more. Because it happens later on in the movie as well. You know, I saw the twist at the end. As soon as I saw the guy in the beginning, I was like, yep, I see you I know what's going to happen already. Maybe that's just because I know how these stories are told. I think it was a good choice to include the Pakistani taxi driver, because when you are dealing with, when you go into another country, into another space, and you've got a set group of bad guys, the bad guys are, you know, the bad guys are from a certain country, they're from a certain demographic. In this case, they're a bunch of Muslims. So there's a lot of movies where the action hero goes to another country and one of the people helping him, or his main companion, is someone from that same group. So for example, one of my favorite movies where that happens is Triple X with Vin Diesel. You know, he goes to Russia and the three main people helping him are Russians. You know, and he's trying to take down this big Russian mob boss. So it creates a nice dynamic, because those tend to be the most interesting characters, because they live in that world, because they know that world and they're a part of it. So they sort of almost introduce the main character, like, welcome, you know, to my world. I think that in terms of the fighting, it was a bit inconsistent. Like, you'd have some really good fighting scenes or shots, and then you'd have some that just don't make sense. And they just weren't on the same level. I mean, you'd have him hit someone in the head with a bat and not a drop of blood, you know, and later on in the movie he gives someone a backhanded hit and a ton of blood. The fight scene he has later on is definitely much better than the brothel scene. But yeah, I do feel that the movie progresses in just about every aspect. I'm not sure if they necessarily knew what they wanted exactly in the beginning. I kind of get the feeling that as they were going on, they thought, okay, we can do this to improve, we can do that. And that overall led to a better movie being produced.
I'm glad they didn't just make it about bash, bash, boom, 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 and just fighting, you know. You know, once things kicked in, I'm really happy for that, because they made sure they still had a progressive storyline and things kept on happening throughout, and I think that is important within an action film as well, you know. For me, in the beginning, with the love story and everything happened really fast and quickly, that you don't get to feel that pain within for the couple later on, because you haven't seen that much of their love story. Do you know what I mean? Like, in many ways, it's a great thing to start from the beginning with and get straight to the point. But I feel from the stance of love, I would have just cried more. But what helped throughout the thing was that there were songs that played really well throughout the movie, and it didn't feel out of place at all. They played it at quite the correct times, I feel. Especially the Intizar song, when she is in the truck and she's being transported and he's traveling and stuff as well. Just to show that love again and remind the viewers that, you know, this is actually what it's about, you know. Like, let's not forget about that.
So I actually have a gripe with that. I know in Western movies they don't really have, you know, musical scenes like that. And in this one they had to sort of try and pull you away back to, you know, their relationship, what each of them are going through, their sort of internal struggles. But I just feel that though it might have been done at the correct time, I didn't quite like how quickly they just switched, you know, because they could, it's like they expected you to go from like hardcore, hard-hitting action, feeling this grit and adrenaline, to just like, oh, now you're in an emotional bliss. It was a bit too quick for me. You know, for me it would have made sense if they made something common in both of their sort of worlds and they used that to link it. For example, you know, if they had in a movie where they have a character look at the moon, and then you see the moon from the perspective of the other person, and now you in their world. It's a smoother transition.
No, I understand what you're saying. I just feel like I said, specifically that song Intizar, when she was in the truck and she was traveling and then he was traveling within the car as well. You know, that's why I didn't have an issue with it. So for me, it was okay.
That was better than the other ones.
Yeah, so I'm saying for me, a lot of the times you get a situation within a movie and it just comes up abruptly and you're like, okay, just what happened? But I was okay with how they went about it and everything. And talking about songs, and we're still on that point, the song that Sonu Nigam sings, to tell you what song that is when he's carrying a body. And it's basically a funeral. That's the song, and I think it was quite beautifully sung. And with every song, I felt to me like the meaning went quite well within the parts that were happening in the movie that at that point in time. So I was very happy about that, and that for me is what added to the fluidity of the movie going, you know, forward and progressing and everything. Once the girl cop came in that I like so much, once she came in, I think they tried with the camera work even. They put Nawab Shah, they put him more to the back and they brought her a lot more forward, not even a bit. So the focus was more on her then, and then you kind of forget about this little crazy idiot here at the back, you know. So I think that was something they did on purpose, just for you to forget about it. And yeah, straight off, I'll be honest, I forgot about him. I was happy with the fight scene that he had with the bad guy that went the other way, when the general was like, you know, we're gonna walk away, and then he told these people to stand down, and then the whole fight went on. I think that was really
I was cheering
cool.
that. I was like, whoop his ass, man, beat his butt. I was
Yeah.
like, chip, do it.
Yeah, I was like, yeah. But at the time that I was like, yeah, for that, when the bad guy killed that woman cop, and I was like, no! I was literally like looking at the computer screen, and I was like, no! I was like, no! What? Because I liked her. Like, you know, I got attached to her in the movie, you know. And what I felt with, I don't know how did you feel about the ending of the movie? Do you felt like it ended where it needed to, or do you felt like it needed to be cut somewhere?
Look, I wanted to see a bit more. You know, for me, I would have liked to have seen perhaps a little more, just for closure's sake. But overall, I think the way they tied up the loose ends weren't perhaps as much as I would have liked. I liked that they ended up shooting, you know, the dirty cop, you know, in a firing squad. But the guy who ran the model business, he just left him in the desert. You know, when that guy crashed and he fell over and he was laying there all bloodied, and Vijay looks at him in the mirror, you know, checking him out. And I'm like, reverse. He's like in your line, just like reverse over him, you know, because in my opinion, that guy gets away a bit too easily, you know.
I know what you mean, but I mean, it's almost like, to hell with you.
I knew that's what you were gonna say because that's your personality. Funny enough,
He wants to kill everyone.
in the beginning of the movie already, I got reminded of you quite a bit. You know, that scene when they're on the bench and he says something and she misunderstands what he means, and she just goes off on him and she's talking and he's like, that's not what I meant, and then she keeps talking over him and he's just like and then he sits back. Yeah, that is 110% you. So that reminded.
Sure.
And then the scene when she gets off the bus, you know, after she's been fired, when she's crying, and he automatically assumes that the other guy said something to her, and he goes up to him and he's all aggressive. He's like, what did you say? You know.
That's you.
Yeah, and then you come in afterwards because she's like, no, leave him, don't, you know. Because even if someone did something like that, you'd be like, don't. So that reminded me of you 100%.
But that is not at all a bad thing about me. I think that's what makes me a good person, right?
I didn't say it's a bad thing. I just said it reminds me of you.
Yeah, fair enough.
So it's definitely the kind of character you can relate to. You know, both of them you can relate in different ways. It was interesting to see Vijay in a sweater vest in the beginning of the movie, because the only thing I'd seen previously is him in commando military gear, and that was just a movie trailer. Now that I'm seeing an actual movie, I think it's the other way around for most people. Most people sees action stuff and now they're seeing this, which is more, you know, emotional, whereas in my case I'm seeing the emotional first versus the action. So maybe that's why I have a slightly different way of looking at this, but I think he did a good job overall. I really enjoyed it, and I would like to see him in more of these kinds of roles. You know, I think he's one of those actors that you could milk him for even more. You know, the way they did with Matt Damon in Born Identity. You know, they fleshed the character out quite a bit, you know, in subsequent movies. And I think Vijay's the kind of guy you can do that with. You just need time, you need a good script, you need a good director, and you can make absolute magic.
Talking about Vidya Jamal, he's really good and everything, and what I have to say about him is I'm glad that, because I haven't watched his other movies like The Commando and all those things, but something tells me that there's more love within here and more fight within those movies. Now, what I am happy about is that they balancing it a lot more out here. And don't get me wrong, action is great and amazing, and we all know Vidya Jamal is amazing. He saves the whole production so much of money with him doing action stunts by himself, you know. And apart from that, I'm just really glad that they balanced it, because this leaves room for a stronger and better storyline, in my opinion, you know. So overall, from what you've heard, it seems we both enjoyed this movie, and I really enjoyed it myself a lot, and the songs were really good as well, and it was shot really well. What would you rate it out of 10? Let's tell the viewers.
I enjoyed a lot more than what I was nitpicking about, so I'd give it a solid 8 for me, which on my scale is really good. Because despite the little gripes with it, I found myself really interested in the characters and wanting the story to unfold to the point where even when things ended, I still wanted more, you know? So personally, I think, yeah, 8 out of 10 for me.
Okay, so for me, I don't know, I'm between like a 7.5 and 8 out of 10. I really enjoyed the movie overall. There's just certain things, as I've mentioned through the review, that which I feel could have made it even better. But so there's always room for improvement, but overall, okay, I'll actually go with him and say 8 out of 10. So I think we'll be going with the same number here actually. And yeah, that's it from us today, guys. Keep telling us what movies to watch next, because we really enjoy doing this, and it really opens him up into the movie world as well, because he's seen so many reviews he's watched so many songs now, and let's add into the reviews, we want to do movie reviews, like we plan to do movie reviews every Friday, so let us know
if that's something that you want.
Yeah, if that's something that you want, and if so, what movie should we do next? Because that would be great. Please let us know ASAP once this video is up, so that we can watch and then film, So please don't tell us too late. But yeah, don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe to this channel, and please let us know if you enjoy the way we're doing this review and everything, because we appreciate the feedback that you guys are giving us. And just keep showing love, guys. Keep spreading. Stay safe and healthy, and look after yourselves, people. And yeah, that's it from us today, guys. Goodbye.
Cheers.